Hey, it's Doug with Backcountry Pilgrim, and I do not like drones. Or to be more accurate, I don't like other people's drones. I especially don't like drones when they are out in the backcountry. I don't want to hear that stuff. I don't want to wonder what it is that you're filming. Just keep them away from me. So when a company called Ruko asked me if I wanted to check out one of their brand new ultralight drones, I said, heck yeah, I want a free drone. Actually, I initially told them no thank you. I don't think drones have a place out in the backcountry. That's what this channel's about, not interested. And it wasn't just because I don't like when other people use drones out where I'm trying to hike, camp, or backpack. Drones are expensive. They're heavy. They're loud. They're dangerous. You have to get a drone pilot license. Another thing to keep in mind is that drones are, thankfully, illegal in many outdoor places. However, later on, Ruko came out with a drone that seemed to address many of these issues. The U-11 mini drone has quiet, brushless motors. It is extremely lightweight for a drone, coming in at less than 8.5 ounces. And because of this weight class, no drone pilot license is necessary. I also found out that most of the danger the drones pose to the backcountry come from racing drones, which apparently have more exposed parts and can start fires. Now, given that most people in the backcountry do want to take pictures and even sometimes video of their adventures, I had to admit that having a drone out in the backcountry could make for some pretty cool video. So I told Ruko to go ahead and send me the U-11 ultralight mini drone and I would check it out. Now, one of the things I was committed to is not flying a drone anywhere it was going to bother other people. I have been on more than one hiking trip where I was just sitting back enjoying the beauty of nature, and suddenly I heard that horrific meh of some idiot flying a drone around trying to get their video on Instagram, when we know all the cool people put their videos on YouTube. Now, I like to do a lot of off-trail hiking where there just isn't going to be anyone else out there. I don't personally feel bad about launching a drone for a few minutes in a situation like that, especially if I'm going to be able to record something that I'm not going to be able to get if I don't have a drone. Now, I've never flown a drone before. This was my first one, so there was a pretty steep learning curve. I started off out on a baseball field with almost no trees. I thought that'd probably be a pretty safe place to try and fly it. And after several missed starts and a couple difficulties with connecting, I finally got everything to work at the same time, and I was able to fly it around. I did not, however, bring a mini SD card, which the drone needed to take better footage, so I didn't really record anything good that day. I was, however, able to fly it around the field, and it really wasn't as difficult as I thought it might be. For my second trip out, I went on an actual hike, and took it to an area where I knew there were some ruins from a bridge or something that used to be in this mining community where I like to hike. I thought this would be a perfect place to try out a drone because I can send it somewhere that I can't get on my own. So, as I approached one of these structures that I'd always been curious about, once I realized I wasn't going to be climbing that thing, I sent the drone up to have a look around for me. Unfortunately, at this point, the SD card needed to be formatted, and I must have missed where it said you can do it inside the drone. So, on trip 2, I did manage to get some drone footage. However, it all went to my phone and was not very high res. Now, the U-11 mini drone has a 4K camera, so I was expecting some pretty decent video. I did not get it on that trip. Further, when I tried to do a follow me application where the drone actually follows along behind me while I'm hiking, I ran out of batteries, and so the U-11 went into its emergency procedure where it shoots up into the air, figures out where it launched from, and lands safely, which I appreciated. Since I was right next to a river, it would have been a bad place to run out of battery. So on my third hike with the drone, I made sure that both of the drone's batteries were charged. I made sure the controller was charged. I made sure my phone was charged. And I made sure the SD card was formatted. On this trip, I did 2 videos. One where I launched the drone up and over this rock, out over this big valley, to kind of have a look around. Then I did some footage over this beautiful mountain lake, and then I sent the drone down through this small canyon where I was unable to get to on foot because the lake had risen to the level where I would have had to walk through it to get to it. I thought it'd be better to send the drone through and see if there was anything worth seeing back there before I got all wet and muddy in the lake. Unfortunately, only one of those videos actually recorded correctly to the SD card. I don't know if the files were corrupted or what. They show up on the card, but there is no app that I could play them with. The footage that I did get was, to be perfectly honest, less than impressive. The U11 mini drone does not have its own video stabilizers built in, and you can tell. I have to think that a drone weighing only 8.5 ounces is not going to do very well in even slight wind, and sure enough, the video came out very, very choppy. Further, even though I was recording to an SD card at this point, I still was not very impressed with the actual image quality. Now, some of the features of the U11 that I did like. Number one, it does have a follow me mode, which means that if you have the controller in your hand, it will follow along behind you and give you some cool footage. The problem is the U11 does not have object avoidance, and that means that if you walk under a tree, it might fly right into it. I did like how the controller on the U11 worked. You basically just put your phone in a little holder, plug in a USB, and you've got video footage coming from your drone live. I did not find the controls too difficult to use. However, the left joystick would not stay in place. Charging everything up was not a problem. According to Ruko, you're supposed to get about 35 minutes of flight time. However, that is with 2 batteries, and the 2 batteries are included inside a very nice carry case. Now, speaking of the carry case, backpackers, don't be fooled by the claimed weight of the U11 ultralight mini drone. By the time you have it, and the batteries that you need for 35 minutes of flight time, and the controller, and a case to keep all of that stuff safe, you're looking at just over 40 ounces. So if you actually want to use your drone and be able to pack it safely, you're definitely going to be carrying more than 8.5 ounces. I did very much appreciate the fact that because it comes in at 235 grams, as long as you don't go over to 50, you don't have to have a drone pilot's license. So I was able to take the drone out and just fly it around and have some fun. However, that is about all I was going to get out of this particular drone. Now, if you're looking for a lightweight drone to just get you started into droning, I think that this is probably just fine. It comes in at under $300, which, if you have shopped drones, is a very low price. However, if you are making an investment into a drone to try to get you the kind of epic cinematic shots that you see on some channels, the U11 is probably not going to cut it for you unless conditions are absolutely perfect. As far as the quiet brushless motors, the drone is extremely quiet when you first turn it on. However, as soon as you launch, it does produce the typical drone sound. I did, however, notice that it wasn't as loud as I expected. So, of the reasons that I would not take a drone into the backcountry: annoying noise, too heavy to carry, dangerous to the backcountry itself, expensive, and requiring a license, the Ruko U11 mini drone answers many of those objections. If you want to check the drone out, see the link in the description below, and enjoy your drone flights. Just do it far away from me.